Hello and welcome to another edition of Spoken Voices. We hope that everyone is doing well. We hope that everyone is taking care of one another. And we welcome you here again with us, and we're glad you're here. Today we have a special, for me, hopefully for you too, guest. We have Mr. Brandon Martinez of LOB.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm good. Living
Yeah.
well. I'm breathing.
You breathing?
Living and breathing.
You living
I can't complain. Can't complain.
We're here. This is what I want you to do. Tell them who you are, what you do, and what the heck is LOB?
Okay. Well, my name is Brandon Martinez, also known as Brickz with a Z. I am an artist based out of Newark, New Jersey. I'm a part of a music label / group / company called LOB Loyalty Over Blood, which is very family based. And just a young entrepreneur, a young musician, just striving for the top.
Yep. So of course, my first question would be, when did you start doing this? Because in all honesty, you're my stepson.
Yeah.
So I know that you wasn't doing this when I met you at 12 years old.
Yes.
Right? You were playing baseball.
Yep.
You had the inclination you're going to be the next Roberto Clemente.
Yep.
Right? Now, this is what I remember, right? It's been a hell of a transition.
Yes, it has.
From that. And when though, in all honesty, this kid could play some baseball.
Yeah, I was really good growing up.
You're really good and whatnot. So, when did you get the bug, man?
Got into music after my dad passed, about 2018. That was when I really got into it. I think I was always intertwined with music. My dad and my brother being a DJ. The influences I get from you really influenced me with jazz and putting me onto the soulful aspect of music. And I didn't really intertwine with the studio and actually getting into the rapping part until my dad passed. It was just an outlet for me. It was therapeutic. I was going through rough times, and it was a way for me to really release my emotions and my feelings, onto a track and just move on from it productively.
Who was it? One thing besides your dad passing? Was it one thing, or was it somebody after the fact that you saw that was doing it,
Well,
that kind of pulled you into it? Because it comes, it's not just you sitting up there rapping, you got to write.
Yeah.
You got to write. Have you always been a guy who could sit down and write some stuff? Yeah,
well, I've always been a natural writer. Like growing up, I loved essays, which was weird.
Right.
Like writing for me has never been an issue.
Right.
So it was a former friend of mine. He was into the music scene, and for me personally, I used to make fun of rappers. Honestly.
Okay.
I used to say, hey, everyone wants to be a rapper now. Go get a job. I was making good money, so I used to be the one person talking crap about it. And then it wasn't until I went through a traumatic experience it helped me go through something. And I had a friend at the time. He wanted to do a session, and he was a little short.
Right.
And I said, hey, I'll help you. I'm very supportive of what my friends are doing.
Right.
Especially when, as long as you're not doing anything negative, if you're doing something positive, I don't care what it is, I'm gonna be supportive. And I said, hey, I got you, I'll spot you. So he said, hey, come over after work. I had a rough day at work.
Yeah.
A very rough day. And he said, hey, if you want to get into the studio, he said, just write something. And I was in traffic. It took me about 45 minutes to get there, and I literally wrote a song on my way there.
Okay.
And I just remember how I felt. It was an aggressive song, and at the time I was just upset, uptight, all those emotions inside of me from losing a parent.
Right.
And when I left the studio, I remember how I felt. More so than anything, I felt relieved. I felt like I let it out on the anger. It's like someone going to the gym and hitting a punching bag. So I kind of got hooked after that. And I was like, okay, if I can avoid getting physical or reacting just because of my own life experience, it was interesting to me, and I kept on going ever since then.
I don't think a lot of people, especially people who are not musically inclined, whether it's singing or playing an instrument, I don't think a lot of people understand what it takes to rap to a beat.
Yes.
Right? Because some people just hear it and go, wow, what a great song. But I sing.
Yeah.
Right? So, but I hear music. I hear a beat. I can kind of follow along with the music. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard as hell.
It very is.
You know, especially for rap, because it's almost like spoken word, but you got to keep up with because you'll sound totally ridiculous if you're not with the beat.
Yes.
You know, it's just you
I think
talking.
it's being true to yourself. There's a lot of, you know, it's a lot of people want an image, or some people just want to be a rapper or want to, but specifically for me, I'm being true to myself.
Right.
My origins, where I've come from, my influences. And, you know, in terms of what you want to go about and doing, you know, it's, if you want to be a lyricist, you know, you're going to put wordplay together, you know, but for me personally, I have personal pain that I needed to let out. And that's where my music led to. So the writing for me was always easy because it was just natural, it was fluent, and I had so much in me that I just wanted to outpour.
Right.
And it's a talent. It really is. There's artists out there who purchase songs from writers. You know? So even writing in its own, it's like such an important entity to actually. Then you have pockets and things in that. You know, it's a. Regardless of the image, you know, music is an amazing outlet for people. You know, I love the fact that you can give 30 artists, you know, one beat, and you're gonna get 30 different songs.
Of course.
You're gonna get 30 different sounds, and you're gonna get 30 different experiences.
Right.
You know, so.
I was always amazed in growing up listening to guys like Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder. And then, you know, you still like the other groups too. You still, I mean, I like James Brown just because of the music behind him. I didn't think he could sing very well, but the music, and I understood something at an early age, right? Marvin Gaye and Stevie Wonder sang about life, their life. Their music came from here, as opposed to just here. And whatnot. I noticed that you and your brother, Nathaniel, you know, my son, right? I noticed every song that you guys have put out from the beginning is life experiences. It's talking about stuff that you guys have been through in your life. And me personally, I just find that more rewarding to hear. Why do you think you guys are lyricists like that, are artists like that, who basically say, I'm not going to look at a plant and rap about a plant or a day or whatever. I'm going to rap about my life.
But when you're going through real life stuff, like when I write a song, I have no idea what I'm going to do.
Right.
I have no idea what the song title was. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But it just kind of makes itself once you start with the first line. And whatever you're going through is going to be the first thing that comes to your mind. So if you're going through a breakup, or if you're going through a traumatic experience with family, or if you're going through a hard time or an altercation with someone, you know, whatever you're going through currently is what you're going to speak about. And people like that authentic stuff, because you kind of know when you listen to an artist who doesn't have much context to what they're talking about, and they're just so talking about everything around them besides, you know, saying something that's meaningful. You know, so that's where you have the Nas's and the Jay-Z's and things like that. You know, and it's a clear-cut difference between those two different type of mainstream wannabe artists and then the people who use it because it helps them. You know, it really does.
What I find too is that, me being my age, I remember when hip-hop started and rap started and stuff like that, I noticed that there were people who were basically rapping and you know, and doing their thing, right? But they were lying, because they didn't live that life, right? They didn't come from Harlem or Newark or Bed-Stuy or stuff like that. They came from a different environment, and they kind of latched on to something that they saw was making money, and they started rapping about stuff and lying. In what they were doing, you know, and what they were saying. They wasn't about, as we say, it ain't about that life. You know? Don't you feel, as somebody who raps about stuff that comes from within, can't you tell the difference? Can you guys, that don't even sound authentic.
Easily. I mean, it took me a while to really, I'm just now, 3 to 4 years in, taking music very, very seriously. And at first, I like to stay away from the crowd, and I dissected the music industry, and I kind of saw who they were signing and who these people were, and these were kids that come from suburbs, and these were kids that, you know, don't really have these hard experiences, but they tell them, hey, dress this way, you know, put this in your cup, do this, and you're gonna be famous, you know. And specifically for me, it hits home because I come from North Newark, you know, and that's predominantly Puerto Rican and black.
Right.
And we are family, we are together, we are one. So it's just that gritty city, you know? So me leaving early, I'm you know, I think my mom and I think you as well, I left at 14, 15.
Yeah.
During the high school, I started to see the difference in where my friends that I grew up with, where their life was turning, and what I was dealing with. You know, so I really can't connect with people who go out their way to be something they're not.
Right.
When anything in life, just be yourself.
Right.
You know, that's the first thing. People are gonna love you for you.
Of course.
You know, and if they're loving you for the person the facade you're putting in front, you know, they're not really knowing you. They're not getting to know you. You know, and that's something that's gonna happen later on in life to be an issue. You know.
Yeah, because the truth always shows its face. It always comes out. The truth will always come to light.
I never understood people who say, hey, let's go to the hood or do this. And I said, hey, the people that are there, bro, they don't even want to be there, bro. Like, they only have a certain, there's limited knowledge.
Right.
You know, there's limited financial knowledge, and they have very little things to do in their home. They have nowhere else to go. So I tell people all the time, I said, like, I had friends in high school that when I went to the new town, you know, Newark was such a predominantly known to be a dangerous neighborhood. They were fascinated with me. And a few times I said, hey, bro, let's go to Newark. Let's go to Newark. And I'm like, bro, if you knew I was there, you know, you wouldn't even want to go. You know, so it's also comes from movies.
Right.
You know, it does come from these rappers who make it seem like it's such a luxurious life when they're in these big houses, you know?
Right.
So a lot of what me and my brother speak on is what we go through. And it's also being a man and being about family. And it talks about our own personal situations, but you know, we didn't choose to go through these situations. We just had to survive.
Right.
You know, so.
Me, you know, the thing is with me and your mom, we put y'all in situations, don't get this wrong, not bad situations. we showed you both sides of life. We, you know, me and your mom come from Harlem, you know, and we know the grit and the grind, right? But we also know the glamour and the glitz, you know. So we wanted you guys to know the same thing, because at the end of the day, in my world, I was given a choice. And so I said, for my kids, right, I'm gonna give you a choice. I'm gonna show you where I'm from, and I'm gonna show you where I can take you, and you have to figure it out on your own, you know. And to me, the best expression of where you want to go, how you want to live your life, is through the arts. Right? Whether you're painting something, right, or you're singing, or you're rapping, or you're making music and whatnot. Any kind of music, any kind of artistic thing will tell people where you want to be.
It took me a while to fight that too. Because for me, you know, there's an image that comes with, you know, being a rapper. Because, you know, to the outsider, it's oh my God, look at this delinquent, you know, who just talks about this and that. And, you know, my mom and you know, I'm a successful entrepreneur. I'm a carpenter, I'm an interior trimmer. I was doing it since 18. So for a good amount of 5 to 6 years, I didn't take music seriously because I was successful in a different industry. You know, and it took me a while to realize, like, I tried to fight being, this is me.
I remember.
This is who I am, you know, and 90% of the people who are in the music industry are really chasing an image that, for me, it's authentic. You know, I come from this, but a lot of people who know me, I don't chase a look. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a corner boy. Because I have friends who really are.
Of course.
And I understand what they're going through. I understand their hurt. I understand their pain. I understand that they are so scared too.
Of course.
You know, and it's not something that should be glorified, because a lot of my friends and my family, my peers who are in those situations, they would leave in a heartbeat. Of course. You know, in a heartbeat they would leave.
And it was funny too, because I relate to it, because when I became a CO, right, everybody was saying, oh my God, how could you do that? Oh, it must be a hard job. And where you at, Bridgeport? I had cops in New York after I retired go, where were you at? And I said, Bridgeport. Oh,
yeah, they already know.
You know, oh my God, right? So the deal is this, right? And I always tell them, I said, you have to understand where I'm from in order for you to understand how I could endure, right? These people were not strangers to me. I didn't know them personally, but the person that they were, their personas was not strangers to me. These are people that I dealt with, you know, all my life. until I got to a certain age and realized.
You already knew how to maneuver.
Of
how
course,
to talk to people.
this is the same dude that you went to high school with. So it was not hard. Where do you want to go with this? Are you money motivated or are you art motivated? Are you content motivated? I mean, everybody wants to make money. You'd be a damn liar if you said, I don't want to make anything, I just want to make the music.
I'm legacy motivated.
Okay.
I want a legacy, I want something to leave. And I feel like based on my personal experiences and the things I've learned from you and my mom and losing my dad, and I can help people. I truly believe that I can help people. I can help people get out of dark situations. Even people have listened to my music now and said, "Hey, you saved me."
Right.
They can understand my pain. So money motivated, no. Because I was making very good money I was a subcontractor. I had a 1099, make my own business with employees at the age of 21, 22. So for me, this is just about just doing what I love.
Right.
Because one thing, carpentry was good. I was very good at it because I was an artist as well.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was amazing. I renovated your home. I just did the
floors. A little disappointed that you're not doing it anymore. I'm going to be totally honest with you. Right.
Well, I'm just going on to, in terms of music, it feels like home.
Yeah.
It really does feel like home. I'll have these moments where I won't do music for some time, and then I'll have these upset moments. I'll be cranky. I'll be disoriented. I'll be out, and for some reason, I'll just think, well, you haven't wrote in a while.
Right.
You haven't went to the studio in a while, and that's my outlet. Right. That's home. And when you put your pain and what you're going through into music, that's a real fan base.
Right.
That's how you build real people.
Of course.
So now I'm and also music's business oriented. So
it is big time.
From my 5 to 6 years in the carpentry construction industry, I've met a lot of successful businessmen, a lot of successful entrepreneurs, and I've learned a lot.
And you've met probably a lot of shady ones too.
Yes, I've seen the good and the bad. And I've also learned you can't take business personal. You got to keep your emotions out of it. I've learned it all. And well, not all, I can always learn more.
No, of course.
But in terms of now that I feel like I can tackle the music industry from a business standpoint.
Right.
If you have a business plan and you process it and you do it,
right.
Anything can happen.
Again, I've looked at you and Nate, right? Nate he still is a phlebotomist.
Yes, he is.
Right? Now, this is something that he studied for. Went to class and all that, because, same thing like you. I remember you in high school going through your thing and going to class, and it was a, what do they call it? Where you learn a trade.
I went to trade school.
Trade school, right?
Tech.
Which people don't give enough credit to.
No.
A lot of people are thinking, oh, you got to go to college and whatnot. I went to college.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's 50.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah, it's 50.
It's only for certain people who want to do something. I did 2 years and realized, oh my God, this is insane. I saw you and Nate do something and do it well. I mean, do it well and decide, you know what? I want to do something I love, not just do something that I'm very, very good at. I want to do something that I love. And I think that's a message that you can carry to everybody in this family and beyond.
I tried to fight it for so long. I really did. And even with, I always say music found me. I didn't go looking for it. I was a wreck, and in terms of me being successful, I kept telling myself, why would I go through music? I'm doing good, you understand? So I tried, and for some reason, life is always gonna just push you towards a certain direction. And even with Nate being a phlebotomist, he came around as support for me.
Right.
And then it was just one moment, I can tell he had an epiphany. He just saw, because Nate got a story too.
Oh,
my big brothers got pain just as much as I do. So
no doubt.
I think he kind of saw how I was really just putting everything on the floor. And it kind of inspired him. And he says it as well, let me get in there. So if someone's gonna be in the music industry and if someone's gonna have thousands and thousands and millions of people listening to them and influencing them, why not have a positive figure doing that rather than telling people to run and shoot and kill each other,
right?
And do these things that they in reality don't want to do anymore themselves.
No.
A lot of these rappers speak on past events they do, but then you know, they'll have 50 people listen to their songs and go through 50 crimes for no reason.
Of course,
you know?
Because they think there's a correlation between
Yes.
the music and real life. But that was, and they can't make the difference between somebody that's an artist that's speaking from past pain and thinking that, well, wait a minute, I can do that too. No, you can't. Only that person can live that life because it's his life.
Yes.
And whatnot. And I really, I tell you, man, it's funny because you're talking about Nate. I've seen such a change in him.
Yeah.
And music has changed him. I've seen it. You know, it's palatable. You can almost taste it. And I see that it makes him move totally different. It calmed him down, you know, because he was like a lot like me, you know, at that age, you know, because, you know, I lost my dad early and whatnot. And it took a while for me to realize, you know, my jumping at everybody's head about everything is only messing me up.
Yeah.
I may die of I used to think sometimes, geez, I'm getting so upset, I may die of a heart attack at like 21.
I stopped talking to people when my dad passed. You know, my way of dealing with it was, I always felt like I don't have a bad temper where I can lose it. I just have a temper that when the switch flips, it's like it's not stopping.
Right.
You know, so for me to know that, and then when my dad passed, I felt like it's like I developed something even worse.
Right.
You know, so I kind of got to the point where I avoided conversations where even if someone would come to me and be disrespectful or give me an attitude or a look.
Yeah.
And, you know, I kind of just, I was, you know, let me just walk away.
Of course.
Because if they say something, they don't know what I'm going through. They don't know what I'm dealing with at home. And
Right.
if they say something that might trigger me, it could be bad for me more than them because I might do something to hinder myself, you know, but in hindsight, that's what I needed music for, you know, because now when I have my outlet through music and I'm fine, I'm giddy, I'm happy, somebody could come with negative energy, it's just gonna bounce right off from me,
Right.
you know, because I let everything out already, you know, so it's one of the best forms of therapy for me personally.
Right. I tell you what is really funny too, and I look at the correlations in all of our lives, you know, even though we're a blended family. I look at the correlations. I remember my dad died at 13, right? Almost a year afterwards, I was in high school. He died when I was in 8th grade. I went to high school, and it was still affecting me every day. So my 4 years of high school I can't even remember them, to tell you the truth. But anyway, I was in an English class, literature class, and she said, write down something. It was Christmas. Write down something that you would like someone to know about you in this time of year and whatnot. I wrote some, I can't remember what it was, but it was like half a page or a whole page and whatnot. I gave it to the teacher, right? So the next day, the teacher had read all through them and whatnot. She dismissed his class, right? The woman is sitting there crying, right, of what I wrote.
Because you let it out on the paper.
Yeah, right? Which freaked me out, and then I started writing like crazy. Yeah, I don't know what mom did with the book. I had written books and books and books of poetry and stuff like that. And I understand, you know, the best form of expression, I think, is written word.
Yes.
And to use those, and that's why I'm so fascinated by people like you and Nate and Pac and Wave and all you guys who can sit down, write something, and then bring it out.
Yes.
You know, vocally into music. And to me, it's a beautiful thing.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So we're at the end of the show, right? Sorry, people, I'm like talking to my son, and I'm kind of, but I'm still with you, but our conversations are always like this and whatnot. So we hope everybody's going to do well and be healthy and be safe. And like I always say, man makes plans, God smiles. Take care. And hope to join us again. Yep.
It's Bricks.